Thanks for joining us on the Minnesota State High School Baseball Coaches Association YouTube channel here as we talk about the upcoming November 12th and 13th annual clinic that we're going to have in person this year at the new Viking Omni Hotel in Eagan. Appreciate you being here. We have Paul Twangy from Minnetonka with us, Ryan Holmgren from Elk River, and Mark Downey, you're still from Mounds View, right, Mark, but newly retired.
Sure. Yep.
And we appreciate you, all three of you guys being with us. Hey, Paul, why don't you kick us off? Oh, whoops, wrong word. Lead us off with a little talk about our speakers that are coming in November 12th and the 13th. And thanks for joining us, by the way.
Oh, thanks for putting this together. Tried to spread the speakers out. All of us worked on it, and we have the professional element, we have the collegiate element, and we even have the high school element. One thing that's probably been a little bit absent is actually coaches coaching at our level, because sometimes coaches don't believe that what's being done at a higher level can be done at a lower level. Well, they're going to learn that. Butch Chafin is coming in from Tennessee, USA coach for USA Baseball. He's at Cumberland, Tennessee. He's really a good organizer and has good insight to high school talent. Mike one of Mike Parker's pitchers, who must have been about 6'8", and he was only a sophomore. I don't know what they're doing over there to grow him that tall, but he probably should share that with all our coaches. Probably the most prolific coach that's still coaching in the state of Minnesota is Bob Carr. I was very close with his brother Jim Carr, and Bob is going to speak to us about the success he's had at St. Cloud Cathedral. And then when we start talking about others that are going to enter in that have a Minnesota connection, Toby Gardner, who just finished his first year as a AAA coach, is going to be with us. John Maley, the assistant hitting coach from the Los Angeles Angels. We're going to have Dana Kicker, who is a rural phenom coming up and went on to pitch for Boston. He'll be talking to us about pitching. I believe we're going to have also a very good catching presentation too, because we have 2 sessions of just straight out catching with us. And so I'm looking forward to this. The biggest thing is we want as many people there. We've changed the venue, as you pointed out already. If people haven't been there before, they're going to be quite surprised. This is a very, very professionally set situation. The setting is perfect for a convention. We're right next to the Vikings training facility. So it's going to be entertaining from the baseball standpoint, and it's going to be very comfortable from the hotel standpoint.
Nolan Johnson is who you're talking about as the catching speaker.
Correct.
And is it that I believe he has a new company or something he's doing with catching, or something along the lines of promoting catching it as, kind of the brand with it and whatnot. We also have just a number of great speakers, including the panel that we had of state champions that we did virtually last year, hoping to have them in person. And you mentioned, Paul, being able to be in person and come together as a coaching fraternity on this. Talk about how important that is to be able to see each other face to face, and how much fun we're going to have doing that.
I totally with you. I think it's always good to watch it virtually, because we just went through it once, but now it seems like we've been through it about 4 or 5 times. But you don't get a chance to run ideas by people, your peer coaches. For a lot of guys, it's the only time they get to see somebody that's maybe from the southern part of the state who coaches in the northern part of the state. So it's a great place to hook up for getting future games, whatever the case may be. Very important, though. It kind of gives you a little bit of a juice in the tank to get ready for the spring. And I think I definitely believe that it's always better to be in person at a clinic. It just makes everything feel real. And we're all preaching to the choir. We're all baseball people. So it should be fantastic for all of us to be there. And the greatest thing about being there is you can ask a speaker a question, maybe if they allow a Q&A while they're speaking, but definitely when they're at the convention and they're accessible and they want to talk baseball. That's exactly what happens there. You're in a baseball heaven when you're at a clinic.
It's always a lot of fun. Mark, talk about all the work you've been putting in with this clinic, because I've heard a lot about what you're up to, and it is amazing what you're doing. Tell us about what we're going to partake in November 12th and the 13th at the clinic.
Well, there's a lot of people working on it. I'm just one guy, but registration is now available on the website, so mshsbca.org. You can register for the clinic on November 12th and 13th. You can also buy tickets for the Hall of Fame banquet, which will be on that Saturday night. And you'll be able to indicate whether or not you are able to attend an FCA breakfast at no cost to you on that Saturday morning as well. One of the changes this year is that we're going 2 full days, Friday and Saturday, as opposed to past years. In person, we've gone, Friday afternoon, all day Saturday, and then Sunday morning. By popular demand, a lot of feedback from coaches. They were looking for a 2-day, all-day clinic, so we're excited to do that this year. As Paul mentioned, the hotel is outstanding. It's first class. It's a great venue for our clinicians, and as Paul alluded to, coaches want to ask questions, and the speakers want to answer and have dialogue with the coaches. So we're going to provide a post-session area for anybody that wants to talk to those guys that just got done speaking for as long as they want to engage in that discussion. So again, great venue, great set of speakers as Paul identified, and we're really fired up to be back in person. As Paul said, there's just no substitute for being in person. The relationships, we all have the same challenges and hopes and dreams, and it's great to just be together and talk about that stuff.
Mark, while we have some changes going on with the clinic, such as a new venue, an updated place with the brand new Omni Hotel, and of course great speakers that we always have, and changing to the Friday, Saturday, talk about some of those things that are familiar to folks that they'll be able to, like what we've always done type of thing.
You bet. Yeah, we'll have vendors available, which is obviously an important component of any clinic. Coaches like that, and vendors like to be able to show their wares. We have as Don, you mentioned, we have the championship coaches roundtable, which was received very positively virtually, last winter. We're going to do that in person on Friday night, and then following that, we'll have a coaches social, which is something that we've always done in the past as well, which is obviously a great opportunity to interact and develop relationships with your fellow coaches. So some changes, but same great opportunity to get together. And as Paul said, for the baseball junkie, it's just a great opportunity to be together.
Ryan, as president, this is your second year being president. You and Rick Zollner have had to really navigate our organization through this COVID atmosphere and this time pandemic. And hopefully this year feels more normal. What are you feeling? What are your thoughts, and what are you hearing?
Yeah, last year with the online, it was a challenge, but I think we nailed it, and I think there was a lot of success behind it. The previous year, we didn't know anything about COVID by the time we had a clinic, and now a bunch of changes have been made, and I think people are excited about it. The new venue obviously helps, but as I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but as everyone has kind of already alluded to, just being back in person. The online thing that we did last year was awesome for what we were able to do. I think we hit a home run with it, but nothing beats being in person. I tell people all the time, when it comes to our clinic weekend, it's my favorite weekend out of the year. It's a full weekend of just talking baseball and being around my guys and having my coaching staff there, but also having other coaches that I coach against, other coaches that I previously coached against I haven't seen. It's that all that connection and all that stuff that goes on along around this whole kind of inside this bubble of talking about baseball and learning new baseball things and telling old stories and just that the camaraderie and meeting new people and the great speakers that we always bring in are so accessible and so easy to talk to. whether it's right after their presentations, whether it's late. It's a fantastic week, and so there's excitement to be back in person, and I think there's also some excitement for what we have brewing this year with the great list of speakers again and the new venue.
This is what we're putting together for the membership, and it really is important to become a member for so many reasons.
Yep.
Tell me more about what members, what they get out of the deal.
Yeah, well, it's the membership is so important just to be able to be part of this organization, to be part of the group. But in order, as a head coach, in order for your teams to qualify for a lot of different awards, in order for your players to qualify for different, academic, all state, things like that, and all the other awards that we hand out, you have to be a member to do that too. So the recognition part of it is huge, besides just being part of a really cool group. But that's the biggest thing. As a head coach, speaking to other head coaches out there, we also really encourage head coaches to get your assistants to be part of the organization as well. I think a lot of guys kind of forget about that or don't realize that they can do that. It's not just a head coaching organization. If you coach baseball in the state of Minnesota, you can be part of our organization. We even have some guys who don't coach at the high school level that are at some of the younger levels that are part of the organization too. So lots of reasons why you should be part of it if you're a head coach, but there's also plenty of benefits, like being able to access our content and all that stuff now that we have, even if you're not a head coach. So head coaches, get your assistants on board too. Get everybody signed up for this year. Get those memberships rolling. It's a good thing.
You're a member. If you're a coach, you go to the MSHSCA.org website. You would be insured. You would be a member of that individual association. Also, if you're a coach of multiple sports, you can join at that point multiple sports, their organizations, and be a part of things. So very important. Plus, in the past, the Minnesota Twins have been so generous to be able to offer tickets to our members, and that has been such a great thing. That we hope to get back in 2022. So
I almost forgot about that. That's one of the great new perks we've had now for a few years. So that's an easy sell for my assistants. They love that. So
yeah, yep. Paul, getting back to the clinic, some of the things that are making you think about what you want to see, what you want to do, who you want to talk to. I'm going to kind of put you a little bit on the spot here, but are there some speakers, and of course they're friends of yours, so be careful, but speakers that you're really looking forward to seeing and listening to, and some things that maybe kind of get the blood pumping a little bit for you?
Well, I think there's a couple of hidden speakers that are going to be really good. I think there are people that are familiar with Joe Leppel, who used to be with the Twins, and what he's going to have to talk about in relationship to base stealing. I think that's really important because at our level, I believe that the short game, which Mike Parker is going to talk about, small ball, and then base stealing, they become hard things to defend. I'm looking forward to spending some time with John Maley and finding out what he's teaching. And a lot of times guys don't see that translating to their level, but it does. I mean, hitting's the hardest thing to do in any sport. Round bat, round ball, hit it square, that kind of stuff. And then I'm really interested to see what Toby Gardenhire's got to bring. They're all going to be good, but there are some guys that I don't get to see as often. And now they're going to be here, and it gives me a chance to talk to them, as well as everybody else that's at the clinic will have the opportunity to talk to them. I mean, the one thing that's always stuck in my mind, if we got a couple of seconds for a quick story, is not everybody got a chance to meet John Scalinas from Cal Poly Pomona. And anyway, he was the first time I ever went to a national convention, I asked him one question after he had presented, and it was in the evening, and he spoke to me for 45 minutes. He didn't know me from Adam. He was just talking baseball. And I think that's the one thing baseball coaches who really love the sport, they want to talk the game. And it's a great game to second guess. So, and I've been second guessing the Yankees all day long here today. So
There's probably other teams you could second guess as well.
Yeah, right. But there'll be some speakers there that are going to be good for everybody, and I know they can be approached, and they should be approached. You should ask those questions when you see them. They're here because of baseball, and they want to pass that on to everybody else.
Baseball coaches share. That's one of the great things about it. I mean, the four of us have spent time coaching against one another, and been in big games, but yet we're friends. And we talk about baseball, and we bring up things that are unique and get each other's perspectives on things, and that's what's so cool about our group is that it's a big, I don't know, your pockets of kind of family feel with that, and it's a fraternity, and folks love to get together, talk baseball, and share what they know. Mark, we have some great sponsors that are a part of this, and we're very fortunate. And what else do you want to? What else can we ask you about with the registration piece and anything that I'm missing here, Mark, with clinic?
I think on the registration piece, it's just a matter of going to the website and all the information's there. If you have any questions, my name, email, and phone number are there. You can certainly feel free to contact me if you have any questions. You mentioned our sponsors. We're very fortunate to have some very generous sponsors with Cambria, Coaches Insider, who we worked with last winter on the virtual clinic, Dynamic Team Sports, and Big Athletics. So you'll be hearing more about those sponsors at the clinic as well.
We've had Big involved with us before, Coaches Insider. We appreciate both of them. Cambria for our clinic is coming up, and they're new, as is Dynamic Sports. Paul, you want to talk a little bit about Dynamic Sports for us?
Yeah, Dynamic Sports has always been in existence, but it hasn't been a frontline name. What I mean by that, it hasn't been Under Armour, Adidas, Nike, Wilson. But if you ordered if a uniform was ordered through, let's say, Nike, that uniform was actually made by Dynamic Team Sports. Well, there's been, with COVID, there's been a real change in the major market people and the major market players, meaning Under Armour, Nike, Adidas, they're going to work top down. If you look at Nike, they have pro football, pro baseball, and pro basketball. I believe they have three. And they're going to take care of that customer first. Then they're going to take care of their collegiate customers next. And we were last to be thought of as a high school group. And it's really kind of ironic when you look at a business. There's over 24,000 high schools across the United States. And there are, to put it in perspective, of those 24,000 plus schools, I would say probably 23,000 of them probably play baseball. There are, and let's go to the highest level in Division I baseball, there are 289 Division I baseball schools. So if I'm starting a business, I would like to go for the largest possible market there is. And that's what Dynamic Sports is doing. Instead of having things trickle down to us, they're going to start working with the coaches here and start here. And then wherever that takes them to a higher level, so be it. But they're going to start with us first. And right now, the idea of getting product, it's really difficult. I don't want to get too far into that, but
it's true.
This business came to us, and they're doing this state to state, but they're trying to concentrate on high school coaches, high school programs, and high school product, and then hopefully putting us in a good position to get things done.
We're excited to have them aboard, and excited to have all of our sponsors aboard. Excited to have the FCA group again with the great breakfast on Saturday morning. I almost caught myself. I almost said Sunday morning, but it's Saturday morning. Ryan, just as we start looking ahead to that banquet and that Hall of Fame banquet, I know you know this, but our Hall of Famers, Darby Carlson from Maple Grove, Don Dvorak, Gary Palm, Todd Sranker, one of our good friends, Ken Solars, and Herb Wolf. And then we have our next class of Billy Kinnanen and Paul Twangy. So that's a pretty great class right there.
Yeah, that's some big names in high school baseball coaching in this state. Had been fortunate enough to coach against a handful of those guys. Even more fortunate enough to be able to call a handful of those guys friends along with colleagues, and so a lot of respect for everybody who earns that right. But it's pretty cool, the class we got going in this year, along with the class from the previous year that we didn't get a chance to formally to put in. So it's a little bit bigger class, kind of a combination, but definitely wanted to wait and give the 2020 class their due and let them have their night and their moment. And so it's going to be a fantastic way to kind of wrap up what's going to be a really great weekend, and very deserving honorees. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody there and welcoming them into the highest honor you can have in the state of Minnesota as far as baseball goes.
And the Minnesota Twins will have the Hall of Famers on the field late September to honor them at Target Field, which will be great. Our Dick Siebert Award winners, Tim Loberg, Jim Dimmick, retired coach, Jim Erzar and Pat Collins. Mark Wilson is our Angelo Giuliani Award winner. Our Rob Fornacier, assistant coaches of the year, Mark Broughton and Joe Hoffman. Craig Anderson Award is Al Amdahl, and our Field of the Year is from Waconia. And I'll tell you, Waconia has had quite a run with the state tournament, and now being Field of the Year. It's pretty exciting for that.
Donna actually just played on that field last week for the first time, and I'm telling you, it is in fantastic shape even for mid-September right now. Obviously hosting the state amateur, but what a facility! I'd never actually been in there before, and what a place! Very, very well deserving. That place has set the bar pretty high.
You're a catcher, so how's the home plate area?
Sloped a little bit larger than normal, but it was all right. It's just didn't want to go too far backwards on an elevator shaft pop up. You might need to keep your balance a little bit more, but it was good. It's just fantastic.
Record a pop up for us sometime. I'd love to see it. So, hey guys, I appreciate you being on. And again, www.mshsbca.org. November 12th and the 13th. Registration is available now. If you have any registration questions, check with the webmaster, Todd Spranker. But otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. There is a sidebar that pretty much tells you where you are at in the registration process until you get your receipt at the end. Then you'll know you're surely registered. Also, you'll receive an email confirmation. If you don't receive the email confirmation, you didn't get the receipt, that means that you might have missed a step or was incomplete. You can just go back and fill that in. So we're excited to be able to kick this whole thing off. We're going to have a few more guests as we promote this clinic throughout the months of September and October. Make sure you register. I believe there's a cutoff, Mark, isn't it? Is it November 1st?
November 1st.
Yeah, November 1st. And then the rates go up, so you don't want to miss registration and registering early. So, hey, anything else that I'm missing?
Great job.
All right.
No, thanks for having us on.
Yep, I appreciate it. And folks, we'll see you at the Omni Viking Hotel in Eagan.